With 4 kids and a busy home, our days can be full of noise, chaos, and endless activity. And while we prayed together every day, something still felt missing. Then we made one small change, something that I never would have expected would have such a huge impact on our faith. And honestly, I wish we had done it sooner. If you've ever felt that your family's prayer life could go deeper, this is for you. You see, at first, our prayer life wasn't very intentional. We did pray. We prayed after our meals and before we went to bed, and we had made it part of our routine. So it was important for us to do our family routine of prayer. Sometimes prayer even felt like it was just a box to be checked on our list of daily to-dos, rather than speaking to God and having the creator of the universe listening to what we were saying. And with the busyness of life, there wasn't a dedicated space where we could be quiet, be still, and just connect with God in prayer. We were looking to make our prayer lives stronger and also be good role models for our kids. Then my husband read the book Lead with Prayer, and it completely shifted our perspective. While this book wasn't necessarily for parents, it was more for businesses. It talked about having a special place set aside for prayer and a special time set aside for prayer. And then it also said that prayer should begin with the leadership. So in our family, we took that to mean the parents should be the ones showing the kids and modeling for the kids how to pray, and specifically Derek as the father. So we realized that while we still had prayer built into our routines as part of our daily lives, we didn't have a specific place for prayer. And to show its importance in our family, we needed a dedicated space. So my husband and I talked about it, and we decided that we would find a space. We talked about various places in the house, and one of the spaces that we had that wasn't really being used except for storage was a walk-in closet. So we took this unused, cluttered walk-in closet and we cleaned it out, and we decided to make this our dedicated space for prayer. We cleared out the clutter that was in this closet. It was wrapping paper and Christmas decorations and Easter eggs and Easter baskets and old dresses, and we took all of that out of this closet. And then we put in a table, just a folding table, and 2 folding chairs. We also put in some decorations. So we have a cross in there. We have a Jesus, the Good Shepherd statue. We also put in prayer cards and other resources that we can use and our kids can use in the prayer room. We have besides the prayer cards, we also have a Bible in there. We have a book called There's a Prayer for That. So we also have a list of people that we would like to pray for and things that we would want to focus on when we're praying. And then we also have a notebook for writing prayers down if we want to do that. And that's how we set up our prayer room. And then we started using the prayer room. We gathered our kids together and we all talked about it. We talked about the importance of prayer and how we want to have this dedicated space to do prayers. Not that this is the only place that we can have our prayers, but if we want to incorporate this into our family life, we wanted to have a space for it to show its importance in our life. And so when we first started, my husband would take one kid at a time into the prayer room, and he would go through prayers with them and use the different resources that we had. So he would practice using the prayer cards with them, and he would practice writing out prayers with them. And so they became familiar with all the different resources that we have there. And it didn't have to take very long. It usually was about 5 minutes. And personally, I really found the prayer room to be very helpful for me when I start feeling overwhelmed with 4 kids and lots of activities going on. Sometimes I get overwhelmed, and it really helps to have this space where I can just go and just focus on God. Another thing that we did was one of my daughters drew some Bible passages and decorated that, and she put that along the walls in the prayer room so that when we're sitting in there, being still, reflecting on God and talking to Him, we can look at the Bible passages and be refreshed with His Word. And so that was a cool way that she could use a gift that she's been given. She's very artistic, to glorify God and to bring peace to our prayer room. And then we also started noticing that our kids started going into the prayer room on their own. During the day they would go, or right after supper they would go into the prayer room. And that was a really cool thing to see them actually using the prayer room too. And so it wasn't just something that we were forcing them to do, that they were enjoying the space that they can go and that they can talk to God. But I don't want you to think that it was this smooth transition and everyone was happy either, because at first our kids were not so sure about it. They were reluctant to use it. There was some grumbling, oh, we have to do that again. But over the course of time and using it and remembering to pray and the benefits that they have found from just even being reminded to pray more often, they have started using the prayer room on their own. And so now that they do it during the day, they don't necessarily always do it at night, but anytime during the day. And since we homeschool, they can do it whenever they want to during the day. Another effect has been that our prayer life has become much more intentional. Our prayers themselves have become more intentional. And rather than just saying, oh yeah, I'll pray for you, we actually have people's names written down, like friends and family who we are praying for regularly, and we can refer to them from the list that we have in there. And we can go there, have this quiet time when the world around us is chaotic, even when our home gets busy. We have a place where we can go and be refreshed and read. We can read over prayers from God's word. In the Psalms, there are some great psalms that are wonderful prayers to use, and we can also just go there and pray to God ourselves. Having a prayer room in our house has really shown the importance of prayer for our Christian lives, and it has really helped our family grow in our prayers and in how we are praying, and also in the frequency of our prayers, and how it is more of our family life than just something that we check off on a list. If you've ever felt that your family's prayer life could go deeper, maybe this is the change that you're looking for. You don't need a big space. It doesn't have to take up a whole entire room. You could use a closet like we did, or you can find a simple corner of a room and just have a dedicated space where you can focus on God and pray. Try it and see how God moves in your family. And if this video encouraged you, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more Christian parenting, inspiration, and intentional Christian parenting. If you want to learn a little bit more about our prayer room, you can look at the blog post at the link in my notes. God bless your family.